those of you who are new, hello, my name is Jordan. I was a college basketball player and now I'm a trainer. And today I'm actually reviewing a pair of basketball shoes. And this pair of basketball shoes is the Puma All-Pro NITRO. I am not a shoe review channel, I just want to say that right off the gate. But I bought a new pair of shoes because I needed them. And I got a mic and a tripod. And now I want to talk about them, so sue me, I guess. When I first got this pair of shoes, I bought them on Amazon, funnily enough, and I didn't actually know 100% all the details that would be put into this shoe. This shoe pays homage to the Harlem Wrens, which is I think it was the first black-owned and all-black basketball team ever, way back in the 1920s. And now this shoe has little highlights and details paying homage to that team, and I think that's some really excellent stuff. The second thing I'd bring up about my first impressions is that there's a mix of textile and then a little bit of kind of fake leather overlay, along with a rubber outsole, so pretty typical stuff, but none of the materials feel overly cheap. It feels like it hugs your foot. That's what I got on my first first impression. So that's just the first things that I noticed. And then also you'll be able to see it in the video. This shoe is maybe a mid top, but it's probably a low top. I would consider it to be a low top. And so just keep that in mind. If you're a high top person, this shoe may or may not be for you, but it's not a high top, so I'm not going to sell it as something that it isn't. Let's get into the traction first. We got some herringbone on the top side here, and then like a hex pattern on the bottom side. For the top side, the rubber is fairly soft, which for somebody who's working on blacktop outdoor courts, it's gonna break down really fast. It's not the most solid stuff in the world. You can see that it's bending a little bit underneath my hands. The bottom side though doesn't move at all, so that's completely solid. I play on outdoor courts a lot. This court is concrete, but it's like fairly smooth. If you're working on just hardcore blacktop, like some people do up north, don't recommend these for outdoor use. But indoor, they should do you fine, and that's not going to be the thing that breaks down on the shoe and makes it unwearable. I think that's really solid. All of the material stuff on that aside, I think that it's got good grip, it's got good bite. I really like the way that the shoe feels both indoors and outdoors, and I don't really have any complaints. You're gonna have to wipe occasionally because it's gonna pick up a little bit of dust, but for the most part, it's not gonna leave you hanging out to dry. You're not gonna have a lot of slide outs or slip outs. I got this solid rubber outsole. I don't even think that they offer translucent outsoles. So again, this is just a really solid option. It's not gonna let you down when it comes to its most foundational level. Traction for me, 4 out of 5. The only reason why it doesn't get one more is just because the outsole's a little softer than I would want it to be if I were playing on outdoor courts that were a lot harder on my shoes. Second bit, cushion. And the cushion for this is Nitro, which is in the name, the All-Pro NITRO. You can see it on the bottom right there. The Nitro cushioning. So I will say this first as a disclaimer. I am not wearing the insoles that originally came with the shoe, which I know does factor somewhat into the cushioning. I'm wearing something called Sole insoles, and I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that, but I really do like those insoles because they're customizable. You throw them in some heat and then you mold it to your foot, so it's really nice insole. But all that aside, I throw those in all my shoes, so that's just kind of a uniform thing across the board. The insole for this shoe, not bad at all, just a standard insole. You can see it right here. It's got also some Wren, highlights and stuff like that. But for this, when I'm just talking about the cushion, because once you get past the insole, the cushion is really what matters. Solid stuff. You feel fairly low to the ground. I don't feel like I'm on a platform like a lot of LeBron shoes or anything like that. I also feel like that it's giving me some response in the heel as well, so it's not leaving me completely high and dry. It's just, again, it's a nice mix of both. So yeah, I'd honestly it looks like the cushion comes up really high on this shoe. It doesn't. Your foot actually sits a little lower into the cushion, so it kind of serves as kind of a heel counter, outsole protective thing. So you're not quite as high off the ground as it makes it look like in this shoe, which is a great stuff. So yeah, basically I'd recommend this for guards and bigs because again, it's gonna support you either way. do what you need it to do. So yeah, it's gonna get a 5 out of 5 for me. All right, so now looking at the materials. The materials, we got a textile, a reinforced textile upper, along with a little bit of fake leather along the inner side of the foot. There's nothing on the outside of the toe there, so like if you were to jab, it's not reinforced there with the leather. That's not to say that your foot's going to hop out of it. In fact, actually, this secures your foot really well. It hugs your foot, and right out of the box, it feels really, really good. This shoe doesn't take a lot of time to break in. The materials feel soft, but they feel, sturdy, firm. So, again, I really like this. It doesn't feel cheap. It's feels like it's going to last me a while. It hasn't shown any signs of breaking down in the couple of weeks that I've played in them so far. So again, I really like it. But you got a little bit of suede on the backside here. The heel counter. We'll play with it for a second. Give me a second. It's solid, right? It's not going to let you down. This thing is just consistent. It's just a good piece of footwear. So for the materials, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. It's not like premium leather or anything like that, but it doesn't need to be. This is the kind of stuff that's gonna last, and this is what works. Support is huge for me because I've twisted my ankle so many times. It's kind of not really funny. It's very serious, and I'm kind of glad I'm not playing basketball anymore, mostly just because I can't twist my ankle so frequently because I keep stepping on people's foot. But all my personal issues aside, the support on this shoe feels really solid. So again, like I said, this isn't a high top. This is a mid to low top. It kind of sits below the ankle bone, if that helps. It's not a very tall shoe. Doesn't need to be. You also don't feel tall in this shoe, so you don't feel tipsy, which is good. The big thing for me when it comes to support is, do I have good traction, and am I sitting high off the ground? We already talked about that. Traction is good. You're not sitting high off the ground. So yay and yay. And then when it comes to the heel counter, I showed that with the materials a little bit, but the heel counter is really solid. Your heel's not going anywhere. You don't have any slippage. There's a bit of an outrigger, not much on the outside there. Your foot's not going to go anywhere. That's the big thing, is your foot's not going to jump outside of the footbed. I noticed that in the traction test that I was doing. Your foot's not going to jump around and move around and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's a real that's a real breath of fresh air for me, because there's a lot of shoes that are very, very narrow, and then as soon as you make a jab or something, you feel your foot jump out of the shoe. And that is just incredibly dangerous because it puts so much extra stress on your ankle that you really don't need to put on your ankle. So again, not a very large outrigger, but pretty solid. Again, I'm gonna give this, this is not the most crazy supportive shoe I've ever been in, so I can't give it 5 out of 5, but I can give it 4 out of 5 for sure. This shoe's gonna keep you solid, and it also has enough room that if you're an ankle brace and shoe person, which I know people who are like that. I was one of those people for a number of years, and then I kind of bounced away from that because I got other reasons. I'm not getting into that. I've worn ankle braces in shoes before. You can wear an ankle brace in this shoe and you're not going to have any issues. So that's great. The final thing I want to get into is the fit. And the fit of this shoe, I have very narrow feet. I'm not going to show you pictures of my feet. That's weird. A lot of times I run into problems with shoes where I have to fold the shoe on top of itself because the shoe's just too wide and I have to cinch the laces. With these, no. I think that the shoe fits fairly narrow. So if you have narrow feet, this is probably going to be a good fit for you. If you have wide feet, might want to go up half a size or try it on in store, or try it on and then return it in some way, shape, or form. As far as length goes, the shoe fits true to size. So I'm wearing an 8.5 in men's, which is basically my true size. Sometimes I'll get a 9 depending on what the shoe is. Sometimes I get an 8 depending on what the shoe is. My favorite pair of basketball shoes of all time, the Dame 5, I wear an 8 in that shoe, even though I don't wear an 8 in anything else. So yeah, with this one, again, I went with my true size and I nailed it. So, and that was an online order. So I got lucky. Good for me, I guess. Yeah, for fit, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 5. At least for me personally, this shoe fits really, really well. And again, right out of the box, we talked about this with materials as well. Right out of the box, it's just an excellent pair of shoes. It just feels great, and it doesn't take that long to get it to a point where it's very, very playable. In fact, you can play with these right out of the box. So what is my overall review of this shoe right here. This shoe for me is a 4.5 out of 5. I can't give it a 5 out of 5 because I save 5 out of 5s for like my favorite shoes of all time, okay? The Puma All-Pro NITRO is a really, really great shoe. This shoe will treat you well, indoors, outdoors, anywhere in between. It's a solid basketball shoe, it's versatile, and again, it's really cheap right now. You can get it for, I think I got my pair for like $75 on Amazon. I didn't pay for shipping because I have Prime. I'm one of those, I know. But I got this shoe for super cheap because I wasn't looking for a shoe that was going to blow out the bank, but I just wanted a solid shoe, and this has gone above and beyond. I think this is the best like $75 or $80 purchase I've ever made on a basketball shoe. Now, I don't think you can get it for that price everywhere. I think its retail is $130 or $160. I'll show what it is over here. But the thing is that you don't have to pay full price for this shoe because it's been out for over a year, and it's an excellent shoe. Highly recommend. Again, I'm not a shoe channel. I've watched a bunch of shoe reviews. I've played in lots of basketball shoes, and I have my opinions on things. So I just wanted to give another opinion, and I just wanted to shout from the rooftops here and say, yeah, the Puma All-Pro NITRO is a really good shoe, and I recommend you get it, especially if you can get it at sale price, which you probably can. You definitely probably can at this point. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you like, subscribe, and I'm going to get to my workout. You guys have a great rest of your day. Adios. Side note, by the way, I'm wearing sunglasses not because I'm trying to look baller. It's literally because I can't see. Blue-eyed people, we do struggle, okay? That's why I film all my videos in the dark. This is not my natural element, so there you go.